Hey ladies, Dietitian Tracy here and Certified Personal Trainer, and I'm coming at you with a video talking about why tracking macros can help with fat loss specifically. When I talk about this and about macros being a tool, a very helpful tool in your toolbox to, see fat loss success in your journey, macros should not be a forever thing. It is a very useful tool that you can use in the beginning to learn, educate yourself. What does a cup of rice actually look like? What does 4 ounces of a protein look like? And what does, when I say, okay, aim for 15 to 20 grams of fat, what does like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter actually look like in real life? Because the 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in my mind is a heck of a lot more than 2 tablespoons in real life of realistically what it is measured out to be. Now, is this meaning that you have to be a buddy with the scale and measuring cups all your life? Absolutely not. Again, this is a phase, it's a learning journey, and I think it can be very helpful with learning, how to read a nutrition label, how to figure out how many grams of a certain nutrient is in this product that I'm eating, or like whole food. So macros are just that useful tool in fat loss, and I'm going to tell you some of the different areas on how macros can help in multiple different ways of your fat loss journey. So let's hop right on into the video. First and foremost, macros really help ensure a calorie deficit without starvation or restriction. Now, fat loss requires consuming fewer calories, so you are in a slight caloric deficit when it comes down to science in fat loss. So you are consuming fewer calories than you burn throughout the day, but it's not just about eating less or trying to eat as little as possible, but it is about eating smarter. So macro tracking really ensures you stay in a calorie deficit while eating enough protein, complex carbohydrates, and fats to keep your energy levels up and avoid the extreme hunger that can often come with very restrictive diets. For example, instead of cutting random calories in different areas, you focus more so on hitting a specific protein goal that helps you preserve muscle mass while you lose fat. So that's just one very simple way you can utilize macros and how that could happen for you. That takes me into how do you preserve muscle during a fat loss journey? Now, one of the biggest mistakes in a fat loss journey is losing muscle along with the fat that you're trying to get off your body, which can really slow your metabolism when you are losing too much muscle in a fat loss journey. I'm not saying that this happens just by decreasing your calories a little bit, but when we go on these ultra restrictive diets, let's say you slash your diet, your intake by 1,000 calories and you lose a bunch of weight in 2 months, yeah, it might have been weight, but you also probably lost muscle mass in that too, because muscle weighs more than fat, but also muscle is very compact and fat takes up more room. That's why when somebody has less muscle mass, you might, and you are in a smaller frame, but you don't have as much muscle mass as you could, you might look that skinny fat look. So that's just something to take into account there. Now, with preserving muscle is your protein intake. And this is critical because protein really helps maintain that lean muscle mass by fueling the muscle tissue that you break down in your workouts. Also, it supports the recovery after exercise. So whatever you're breaking down, you're tearing the muscle fibers in a workout, you build it back up with protein, because protein has complete amino acid profile, amino acids which help build the muscle. And that is why protein is so crucial in a fat loss diet, to preserve the muscle mass, keep your metabolism optimize as best as possible. Tracking macros really ensures you prioritize protein-rich foods like chicken, fish, eggs, and Greek yogurt, things like that in your diet on a daily basis. Now we move into the third tidbit here, which is balancing your energy levels. Now, cutting calories can leave people sometimes feeling drained, especially if you reduce your carbs too much too soon, or you're just, again, like taking a very extreme caloric deficit. Now, by tracking macros, you can balance your carbohydrate intake to fuel your workout. So we work on, okay, how do we structure a majority of your carbohydrates to fall close within your workout time? Also, carbohydrates actually help prevent energy crashes throughout the day and can actually help with sugar cravings. So if you have that afternoon, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., very intense, like I need something super sweet or even like salty, carbs can be a very helpful tool in that. And carbs are not the enemy. We just got to look at the source of carbohydrate that you're getting them from. This really helps you stay active when you have energy and you know that you're consuming enough adequate carbohydrates for your body, which is our body's primary fuel source and our brain's primary fuel source. You will naturally be more active throughout the day because like you're not thinking, I don't have the energy to do so-and-so, even do a little laundry or things like that because I'm on this diet that I've cut most of what I really enjoy eating out. The other thing that macro tracking can really help is to support a healthy hormone balance. So a little hormone harmony going on here. When dieting, it is easy to unintentionally cut fats too low in the process, which can actually disrupt our female hormones, like and your hunger hormones too, leptin and ghrelin. And when we decrease our fats too low, also impacts our cortisol hormone, stress hormone, and that can cause the cortisol hormone to go up, ghrelin goes up, and you are feeling really miserable with that. Now, macro tracking can actually help you include heart healthy fats, really like nourishing fat sources, avocados, nuts, avocado oil, butter, ghee, those types of things in the necessary amounts, again, for your body. It's never about cutting out complete sources. You just find really what works for you. Some people operate better on a little bit higher fat, a little bit moderate, maybe lower carb. And I say that with some hesitancy because low carb does not mean no carb. So low carb could honestly look like 130 grams of carbs a day to somebody versus low carb to another person could look like 150 grams of carbs. And that's something you find throughout your macro tracking journey. You're not going to know probably what works well for your body right off the bat because you got to learn and test it out with yourself. What macronutrient profile works really best for me? So fat, keep your hormones in check. We don't ever want to just get rid of the fat. And when we have fats and we have optimal hormone function as best we can in a fat loss journey, it helps promote that fat loss because your cortisol is regulated, your cortisol is not going through the roof. Stress plays a huge role in your body's ability to lose fat, especially belly fat. So taking that into account is really important. Next thing that macros can really help is to encourage a sustainable fat loss approach. And tracking macros really has given me the flexibility to include favorite foods in moderation, making fat loss more enjoyable and sustainable for the long term. You understand that you can have the pizza, on a random Thursday night, but maybe you're like, I don't want to have the pizza out. I'm going to get stuff to make a homemade pizza and make it more nourishing for myself. I feel better after. So naturally over time, you actually start making better choices because you don't know how good you can feel until you put the consistent action that it takes to learn what foods really work well for your body. An example of really incorporating this flexibility with macros into your diet is you can plan for that slice of pizza or dessert by adjusting your macronutrients and your macros that are set for you earlier in the day and preventing feelings of deprivation. So if you have a birthday party you're going to at 4 p.m., so that's that odd time, 4 p.m. in the afternoon, they're having pizza, cake, ice cream. I don't want you not eating anything all day long. You better be thinking ahead and saying, okay, I should probably have a protein-rich breakfast. I'm just gonna have my nice balanced lunch too, and not deprive myself during the day, because that's gonna backfire later on. Then you're ending up going for 4 slices of pizza, 2 slices of cake, and half a gallon of ice cream, because you're like, I was so hungry once I got there, I just felt like I couldn't stop at the pizza party. So focus on nourishing your body throughout the day, and that's what macros can really help you do. Have that flexibility. What do you have going on in your life, and how can you just work it into that? And there's a whole other area of teaching how do you stay within macro goals, but also order the thing you actually want out to eat, and like have the burger, have the fries, and have that into your diet too. So it's totally possible. You just have to give yourself some time to learn the process of tracking macros. One of the best things that I've noticed with macros too is that it really helps reduce the mindless eating. Now, with macros, I'm always like, you can be mindful too with tracking macros. Many people unknowingly eat more than they think they are, especially with snacks throughout the day, high calorie drinks, those types of things. Going back to the peanut butter, the 2 tablespoons of peanut butter you think you're eyeballing might be 4. And that is like 20 extra grams of fat that you could balance out throughout the day and still have your peanut butter, but have another nourishing fat and another meal, because you're balancing out a little bit better. Tracking macros really helps you identify where extra calories are coming from, so you can make mindful swaps. It's not about, oh, I'm tracking because I need control. I'm tracking because I need to see every minute little thing I'm intaking. No, I just say, look at it as data. You need to know what you're doing to then therefore make the change. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and nothing changes if we don't have the data. So that's another thing too, I'm trying to create a more positive light on macros, that not forever, just a season of life, and you can figure it out as you go. An example of being more mindful when you are tracking macros is so if you have a very high fat, like let's say you go to Starbucks and you get a white mocha with an extra pump of the white mocha syrup, and then you ask for whole milk and an extra dash of like cream or something. Okay, like you probably have a lot of sugar and added sugars and fat in that one drink, where you could switch that and go opt for like a 2% milk, or you could opt for like having like a vanilla protein shake where you're getting protein in, and then you get a couple shots of espresso over ice, you pour that in the cup, and then that is your white mocha. Get it? It's not the same deal, but it is a positive swap where you're nourishing your body with the protein, and not saying that you can never have the white mocha. It's just what you do on a daily basis and consistently over time will yield you the results in the long term. Last thing I have here is with macros is really tracking the progress and identifying the plateaus. So fat loss is not always linear. It just isn't. Like, it's not like, okay, we start on our fat loss journey and then you're like, I'm noticing so many improvements and nothing ever happens. There are going to be times you hit a plateau, or you notice that your body's not changing in the way that it should. And if you have been tracking and noticing, I like to track macro averages throughout the week and see what's your average compared to your goal macros. Then you can spot trends of like, what meals am I having on a regular basis? Am I having more snacks than I normally plan to on a regular basis? And for example, so if your weight loss slows, if like the body composition slows over a long period of time, we can adjust your macros slightly to, it could either be, you might need to increase fats a little bit, maybe like play around with the carb sources a little bit, and then that way you have data and you know what to change. So tying tracking progress into portion control, now tracking macros really trains you to understand portion sizes and calorie density, which is really key in a long-term fat loss success, is that you naturally can increase your fiber intake, your micronutrient intake, by increasing the volume in which you're eating nutrient-wise, but not taking in all the extra calories that we're trying to stay in a calorie deficit while keep you staying satisfied. So overall, the key takeaways of this video is that tracking macros for fat loss allows you to lose fat strategically. Not by cutting everything out and the foods you enjoy, but by focusing on the right balance of protein, carbs, and fats that work well for your body and help optimize your hormonal system and all that stuff. It also helps you preserve muscle and stay energized and keep fat loss sustainable and enjoyable in the process. So that's what I have for you today, and if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up or even click the subscribe button. I do have a free meal planner for fat loss little guide down below, and I will be having a Macros 101 course coming up here in the future. So I am creating videos to kind of give you some of my insight into macros, and if you like my approach, just keep on the lookout for that coming in the future. And I am so excited for it because I think it is a very powerful tool. Again, macros can be your friend. You can be mindful with macros, learn it, apply it, and really change your life, change your energy, change your sleep, change who you are as a person, because you feel so much better, confident, strong in your own body again. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay nourished, and I'll see you in the next video.